Episode 21, Jonbenet Case, The Autopsy. Autopsy Overview. Number 1, Digestive System. 2, Bladder. 3, Head and Skull. In this episode, I'm only going to focus on these 3 topics. So if there's other things that you want to look at, then you can pause the video and do just that. Due to the nature of the vocabulary of this video, the content might be graphic, but it does not contain any graphic photos. Okay, so here's a copy of the 9 pages of the autopsy report. And once the 9 pages are placed on the screen, I'm only going to go back to the sections that I want to point out in this video. So if you want to pause and read something, this is your last chance to see this part of the report. On the first page of the report, you can see the injuries suffered by Jonbenet and that she had no drugs in her system. The proximal portion of the small intestine contains fragmented pieces of yellow to light green tan apparent vegetable or fruit material, which may represent fragments of pineapple. And so looking here at the body chart, you can see or estimate or roughly estimate that she had to have eaten pineapple about 30 minutes before she was killed. To me, this seems to imply that it was not something that she ate at the White's house, because the Ramseys stopped at 2 different people's houses to deliver gifts before Jonbenet was put to bed. The bladder is contracted and contains no urine. I whited out everything from page 6, and I added that page 6 to the top right hand corner. In my opinion, this is one of the biggest clues that gets the least amount of discussion. Was Jonbenet's bed wet? Now in the photos, you can't tell, or it's hard to tell. But looking at this photograph here, it could be. You can see it's real white down on the bottom left-hand corner. And then it's a little dirty, but you can't tell what caused that. And then here in these photographs, you can see the long johns are soiled and the underwear is soiled. Now on the long johns on the left, you can see that they cut out a little piece for testing. But what that shows you is that they are not soiled all the way through to the back. What if Jonbenet comes downstairs when John is still up and says she's hungry, and John fixes her the pineapple, then says go get back in bed, and then 15 minutes later she comes down and says she wet the bed? He might get pretty angry. And what if John is the kind of fellow that's not going to clean up, and so he's going to have to go wake up Patsy, and therefore they're not going to be able to go to Charlevoix the next day like he wanted? He might get very angry at that. And maybe stuff like this has happened many times, and he's had it. Here I want to point out two things. The displacement fragment of the skull measuring 1 3/4 by a 1/2 inch, and the fracture measures approximately 8.5 inches in length. The strike to Jonbenet's head had to be massive, and so I don't believe it was the mag flashlight or the baseball bat that was found outside or any of the golf clubs, but it could have been in the fireplace kit, and I think it would look something like this old fireplace poker. I think if the person swung that down hard on top of her head, that would leave the injury that we see. Well, this ends another episode of Unsolved, and I think it was a pretty good episode, and I think the next few are going to be quite interesting because I'm going to focus on clues and what they tell us. So I'll see you the next time.